Welcome to the Resolve.ai webinar series. Before we get started, let us quickly go over a few housekeeping items. We love interactive events, so please feel free to ask any question in the Q&A section, which can be accessed at the bottom of your screen. We'll answer those questions towards the end during the Q&A session. If there are more questions than we can answer during the session, we'll get back to you, we promise. This webinar is being recorded, and a recording link will be shared after the event. Thanks again for joining today, and let us get today's session started, and welcome our host.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. Today, we are going to talk about Jira and how the service desk at Jira can be integrated with some of the solutions to create a different modern service desk. My name is Manish Sharma. I'm the CEO for Resolve.ai, and I'm looking forward to this session. Hopefully, this session will bring you some additional knowledge and additional perspective from how you were thinking about the problem. So, the question is why do this in the first place, right? And I know that many of you who are attending this session, you probably already know the answer. Many of the traditional ticketing systems, and it's kind of sounds funny saying that Jira is one of the traditional ticketing system, but it is, because what is traditional is moving very fast. What was modern 3 years ago is not modern anymore. It is somewhat traditional, because the world that we are living in is so dynamic. So many things are changing, so many solutions and features are being added, and largely they are also being added because of two factors: because a lot of new capabilities exist, but also people have changed. People are asking for more. I talk to at least 2 to 3, if not 5 service desk managers and leaders every day, and I cannot overemphasize the amount of change that we are seeing in people in terms of what their expectations are from a service desk. It's completely changing. Every day it is changing. So in any case, the traditional service desks are great for ticketing, great for SLA management. They follow ITIL. They do decent job at problem and change, I suppose. And this is the great things that, why a lot of them cloud-based, for a lot of people, it was a big move up when they said, oh, we can do everything on cloud, right? We don't have to have on-prem. So all those were great things. And then a lot of people moved to these solutions. But what they cannot do, right? There are two broad categories of things that these service desks, I do not believe, do a very good job. So first broad category is employee experience, right? And the employee experience, the first thing is ease of access. You do really, the only way to access this service desk is via, go to their portal and whatnot. And I'm going to talk about it, but I definitely feel ease of access is a problem. They do not feel like I can quickly reach out to service desk and immediately get in touch, right? That is not the feeling you get when you talk about service desk. It's a 1 degree of separation from where you are to where your service desk is. Second is many of them, right? Including, I would argue even, Jira is not really built for enterprise service management in a modern fashion. If you want to add departments after departments, if you want to create segmentation of knowledge articles, if you want to do a lot of those things, it's kind of tricky, and it takes some work. So you want a solution. A lot of people are kind of asking for enterprise service management today, And it is a long time coming. We should have been asking for enterprise service management from the beginning, but that's another key thing which I feel uh, hinders the employee experience. The third is quick response and quick resolution. Can your system really, can your service desk really give quick response and resolution? That means, if I have an issue within 15 seconds, can I be looking at resolution? And and that is something that the traditional service desk really cannot do, right? They were not built for that. They are not the solution that they have. And last is business and technology process simplification. So there's a lot of business processes that we all deal with, whether it's employee onboarding, employee offboarding, user provisioning, user archiving, the bunch of things that service desk end up doing day in and day out. But there might be some others too. I'm going to show you examples of COVID-related compliance that suddenly had to be built in within the company. And the point is that the traditional softwares do not allow an easy way to really make a workflow um, into the system. And when I say workflow, what I really mean is these workflows really are not just a ticketing workflow. And I'm going to talk to you about it, why it is not a ticketing workflow. But these solutions don't do a process flow, which might or might not involve multiple people, multiple systems, multiple approval cycles. So they're pretty complex in doing that. Um, so second big bucket where these traditional systems, including Jira, in my opinion, are not so great as automation, right? So they traditionally don't have conversational AI. That is not a strong forte for these solutions. They don't have a lot of automation that you can do, like access request, onboarding people, desktop automation, right? Like, for example, software installation, right? Things of that nature, OneDrive issue, fixing. Those kind of things you cannot automate. All you can do is you can create a ticket and you can hope that the agent picks up and the agent is going to look at the issue and solve it. But the whole different muscle that is being created in new service desk, where a desktop and where a chatbot or a AI is going to fix certain problems, that muscle just does not exist in the traditional service desk where I place Jira in. And lastly, there are two more issues. One is smart routing of issues. Can you really, based on the situation and the context, route the issue to the right person? Like, do we really need to route an issue to an L1 when it should directly go to L2 or someone else or a specific person? That is a new capability which a lot of the traditional systems lack. And finally, knowledge automation. This is one of the basics. And I know we'll talk about Confluence today and how Confluence help. But we're also going to talk about what are the new solutions which are possible, either in conjunction with Confluence or separately from Confluence, that can help change the game. So again, to recap this slide, and this is an important slide, we are saying traditional systems like Jira are great in a lot of things, but they lack the muscle and the reach and capability and a skill set in some of the new areas. And a lot of these new areas are very important for a lot of customers today. And the question therefore becomes, are you going to wait for Jira to add all those capability, or you can just connect it to some other product and get those capabilities? Both the options, depend really what you want to do, but we are going to talk obviously about the second option today. So let's talk about the problem statement a little bit more, right? So I'm going to talk about ease of access a little bit, right? So if you look at, if you have multiple service desk, and there are different ways people can go and reach the service desk. You might call them, you might write an email, they might ask you to go to self-service asset, you might have to go to Confluence, and if that doesn't work, then you might again write an email or make a phone call, right? So there seems to be different, especially if you're talking HR, IT, and all those. Everyone seems to have a different way how you can reach me, right? Call me at this number or reach me here. And that is just confusing from employee perspective. So if you put employee in the middle like we do, you're going to find that employee don't want to discover different ways to reach service desk every time they have an issue. They just will love a little bit of simplicity here. Second issue obviously is the responses are slow. You might create a ticket now, and only 5 hours later, very close to response SLA, someone might say, okay, we are looking at your ticket, right? And And that is just a confirmation that someone is looking at your ticket, nothing more, nothing less. On top of it, it's possible that when you created the ticket, you did not provide sufficient information. Now the agent might be trying to chase you so that they can find enough information from you so that they can close the ticket, right? They can work on the ticket. Things of that nature, they just create a back and forth, which really is not great, and just add a whole lot of touch points to a ticket. The ticket might be touched by can come from various channels, then it might have multiple touch points. So by the time of fourth or fifth touch point, the employee is already frustrated with whatever is going on. And that is not a situation you and me want to be in. We, by the way, kind of call all of this as enterprise friction. What is enterprise friction? Enterprise friction is, all this back and forth and issue. And essentially what we are saying is when temperature of people rise, the biggest symptom that you're having a problem with enterprise friction is when people are getting mad. If people are getting mad, they're unhappy, you're seeing some emails flying and people being copied and whatnot, that is a very good sign that you have some experience, you're experiencing enterprise friction, and you got to do something about it. So let's go through all these issues one to one and look at the solutions, right? I mean, a quick broad highlight. Obviously our solution resolve.ai, when integrated with Jira, solves a lot of these problems for existing Jira users, right? So if you use Jira software, all you need to do is to integrate with resolve.ai to solve a lot of those problems. But why don't we look at how these problems are solved first before going into anything specific? So first problem we talked about was ease of access, right? That the traditional service desk do not provide a great ease of access solution, which is so true, because how do you get in touch with service desk? Make phone calls, create a ticket, write an email. All of them seem a degree removed from where you'll want to be. Nowadays what has happened is people really are using Slack, Zoom, Teams very, very much, right? And last 2 years, the Teams usage has is really skyrocketed. The number of users actively using Teams every day has really become like 7 or 10 times or something, some insane number like that. And it is not stopping. There are more and more people using Teams every day. So when you are already using Teams, and that is a place you're comfortable collaborating with your fellow employees and colleagues and whatnot, why would you want to go to yet another system to do things, right? As an employee, and may I say, even as an agent, why shouldn't you be able to do everything from Teams? Why do you need to go to yet another software? So one of the first point about employee experience, if you want to improve, is bring the service desk to them where they already are. They already are at Teams. Don't ask them to go somewhere else to get help. Bring the service desk to them at Teams. That's the point number one. And that's a very important point for all of us to kind of note and take to heart from. And this is, in our products, very simply done. You have an app in Teams, in Slack, and your Jira service desk literally will come to Teams using our app. The second functionality, and this might be important for some of you and for others it might not be, because some of them buy Jira only for IT help desk and some do more than that, right? Typically, a lot of people do IT help desk, but they also do DevOps and maybe HR. But you need a solution and you need an access point for employees, which is same across the board. So it doesn't matter you are talking to IT, HR, DevOps, project management. There should be a single channel, single way. So literally for the employees, it doesn't matter what kind of help I need. I don't ask me to figure out what kind of help I need and therefore where do I need to go. Can I just come to a single place and get help? And that place, like I said in the last slide, if it's Teams or Slack, even better, right? So that is the way people are thinking about the problem, and that is the way I hope a lot of service desk managers like you will also think about it. The third point really is around quick response and resolution. So this is the new model in which you should get lightning quick help within seconds, right? Not within hours, not within, minutes even, but within seconds. Oftentimes, if you divide our service desk issues into different kind of issues, you'll find at least 30 to 40% of the issues that can just be resolved just like that. If you have the right automation, if you have the right, knowledge capabilities, you will be able to handle these kind of issues like within minutes. It won't take more than that. And within seconds, I should say. And that is the model that we are talking about, which is AI powered ESM. ESM stands for Enterprise Service Management. So you come here using Resolve, and now maybe your IT service desk is Jira and HR is Jira, but for project management you use something else, and finance you don't use anything, whatever the case might be. And then but via this window, little window, 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter window on Teams, you can access everything. You can literally access everything that you want, and through that you can also automate a whole lot more. We are going to talk about automation in the second part of the journey, but you can automate a whole lot more using the same product. So the model has changed. The model demands that people's at least 30 to 40% of the issues should be responded and taken care of within seconds. And just imagine if you can reach there where 30% of issues are getting resolved within seconds using AI. The other 70%, you will have a better chance of focusing on those issues and doing really, resolving repetitive issues and really solving some problems. So this taking away of 30 to 40% is very critical. By the way, this is what people expect nowadays, right? A lot of employees just inherently have started expecting that kind of response. I'm going to talk a little bit about automation of process as well. So, we oftentimes talk about process automation as if process automation is something that needs to be done within a ticket. A lot of ticketing systems, when they talk about workflow automation, all they mean is I'm flowing a ticket in certain way, and that is process automation for me. Well, that's great, but process automation, let me give you a news flash. Process automation means integration with a lot of other softwares, integration with other capabilities, AI capabilities, integration and access to multiple players, right? So for example, obviously the easiest example that I can think of is employee onboarding, employee offboarding, user provisioning, those kind of things. But before I even go there, let me give you a couple of examples which are a little bit non-traditional, right? There was a client of ours which wanted to do vaccination status flow, where employees can upload vaccination document, and if it is approved, it goes to someone for approval. They look at the content, and they approve, that's fine. It goes to finance. Maybe there was some money payment involved and stuff like that. So this entire workflow involved people, involved multiple systems, because it might have to be uploaded somewhere, downloaded from somewhere, right, routed to someone for approval. Excuse me. And these kind of complete workflow is not something you can do with traditional systems. Traditional systems will tell you, I have a ticketing workflow, if you can customize it, that's the max I can give you, right? But don't ask me to act as if I'm integrated with Workday, or I'm integrated with SAP SuccessFactors, or I'm integrated with, Bamboo HR, or I'm integrated with, different systems, right? They're really scared if you start talking, that kind of integration. That is not what they were built for. And that is what is required today, right? You want approvals, for example, on Teams. You want, suppose I need to approve something. Can it come to me on Teams and I can approve it and say, boom, done. I saw the content of what I need to, I approved it, and get recorded somewhere. So these are the kind of modern workflows that we are talking about. I'm not talking about workflows from last decade. I'm talking about the workflows from this decade, which imply integration, which imply not working alone, but working through people, and which means that different people will touch this ticket at different point of time, and the complex workflow will be achieved. We also, by the way, I'll take this a notch up and talk about what we call teamsification, right? So basically, you'll take your workflows and you'll teamsify them. This is a term that we have coined. And what that means is you can take your business processes of different kind and IT processes of different kind and teamsify them. That means you can encode them and bring them to teams. That means the entire workflow now is happening within Teams. How cool is that? So for example, expense workflow, boom, in Teams, no problem. Employee onboarding in Teams, right? In the backend, you might have Jira, which might be doing certain things, and you might have Workday, and you might have Bamboo HR or UKG or what have you, right? Doing certain things, playing their part, right? In conjunction with the bot. But all this is happening in Teams, exposed via Teams. And this is a really next generation power. By the way, what we are saying is not going to be, this is going to be very, very mainstream. So you have to believe me when I say this is the way of the future. Everyone is going to bring, remember 10 years ago, everyone was talking about how I have been able to put my business flow into mobile applications, right? And everyone just couldn't talk anything except for mobile applications. Maybe 15 years ago, not even 10. So now is that era when everything is going to come to Slack and Teams, and people are going to say, hey, I took a business process and I brought it into Teams. And that is my that is what I did. And I'm going to do 5 more business processes and 10 more business processes. All of them will come in Teams, and a smart AI is going to figure out and route it and move it. So this is the future of what we are looking. By the way, one interesting thing is, you can even bring your learning to team, learning management systems team. So all of this will integrate via a single window if you use resolve.ai available to you. Let's talk a little bit more about automation. So, clearly, conversational AI is very important. We use at home conversational AI all the time. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. And because we are comfortable using Alexa at home, nowadays we kind of, when we go to a work environment, we're kind of looking for a similar solution. We are looking for, why can't it be done simpler, right? People they've raised the bar. Our experiences at home and the technology at home has really raised the bar in terms of what we expect. We don't like those traditional, I call them rectangular and square applications, which have like tons of boxes in it, right? And you have to click this and you have to select this, and then they'll open another, rectangular and a square. That's how I look at them. I look at the traditional system and I looked at rectangulars and squares, funny as it might seem. And that is a model that is going to die. So nobody wants to interact with those systems. Nobody wants to go back there and figure things out. They want Alexa-like capabilities so that I can tell what I want and it can figure out what it needs to do in order to satisfy what I'm asking. I don't need to know a business process. Alexa maybe can know the business process and tell me what to do next, right? Why do I need to know 200 different business processes of the company? So literally you bring all of this to Teams, like I'm showing here. Like, if there's a product, our product called resolve.ai, there's an app, you download it, you connect it to Jira, and then, and now of course we help you through that process, but literally you are bringing all those automation to Teams and Slack, the channel where enterprise channels where people are today. Another key function is, we do not believe that AI should be working alone, right? AI should be working in conjunction with people. So, the model goes like this. You're chatting with the bot, and the bot, if it can help you, great. If it cannot, then does it have the ability of live chat? Now, that's another piece where Jira and many other softwares really lack the capability, but you should be able to connect with an agent, right agent, by the way, right? If it's a L3 kind of problem, why should I go chat with an L1? Or if it's a HR problem, why should I talk to an IT person, right? So right person, can I have a live chat with the right person at the right time? And now using our solution, you can, right? So the bot can create tickets in Jira, can give you status updates of what happened to your ticket, etc., etc. Everything at the tip of the finger, but it can also bring a live human interaction to you from the backend. The integrated, so there's another dimension here, which is endpoint automation. Now, this is a dimension that you should not even probably go and ask the traditional service desk, because although one or two do have, endpoint automation, but they are thinking about endpoint automation with respect to human agent. Okay, huge distinction, big distinction. When they think of endpoint automation, they are thinking what a human agent can do, connect to the system and look at people's laptop after approval, or remote viewing, remote access, software install. But in their mind, this is all the agent is doing, human agent is doing. When we think about this, we think, what can AI do? Can AI do the bot can do certain things for you? And if it cannot do, of course, it can get human help, but can the bot do certain things? And this is a new concept. You would not have heard about this concept anywhere else. We are a company which actually brings a lot of new concepts, net new concepts to the market. So there's a new concept where the bot is actually interacting with the endpoint automation. And whether it's Microsoft Intunes or SCCM, or you're talking about some RMM tools, we interact with them directly. As a matter of fact, we are also bringing our own endpoint automation tool, desktop automation tool, which is going to do a lot of smart things like capture better information in the ticket. A lot of people tell us, when we create a ticket, we'd love to know where this ticket is coming from, which device it is coming from, because people have multiple devices and we like to know that. Or it would be nice if while creating the ticket, the bot could do a quick diagnostic and add some of these information right there. If it's a desktop issue, why not add a quick diagnostic and into the, so these are some really next gen kind of usage, which, by the way, if I may say so, are going to become mainstream fairly quickly. So people need to start thinking about these kind of solutions right now. So that is the beauty of like a laptop configuring, a bot configuring a laptop, for example, right? That's a beautiful thing. A bot creating a ticket which has more information, so that the agent can work on it, and bot installing a software, these kind of things, right? These are the important things. I already talked about smart routing of issues, but just to reiterate, why should user go chat with the wrong person or create a ticket with the wrong person? Why can the bot think it through after a little bit back and forth and say, you know what, I know where this ticket should go. I cannot help you, but you know what, I know exactly with which queue it should go to or which person it should be assigned to. If I can resolve it, great, but if it cannot, then it should go to, I know which queue to go to. Let's talk about knowledge automation. I think this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. Knowledge automation, Confluence is a great product. A lot of people use it, but listen, the way people consume information has changed. People are looking for short answers to a precise question, and they want to know exactly that. If you throw me a huge long article when I just wanted a small information, I'm not going to be impressed at all. If you're asking me to go search for it, then that is even worse, right? I want information to be brought to me where I am, as not where and exactly precisely the information that I need. And then maybe I'll not create a ticket for you, right? That is a way to do it. Anything short of that, you're already doomed for failure. If you're saying, oh, you want information, why don't you go to that system and then look up there and then do this and do, nobody's going to do that. So you want, no matter where your knowledge is, you want the bot to be able to access it. You want the lot of knowledge to reside within the bot, and you want fantastic quick results, to precise results to your employees. And by the way, if anything goes wrong, you want that feedback loop to go in so that you can keep improving your content. So content should not be dead. The dead content is the one which you created once, you forget about it, or you don't know how many people are looking at that content. You create a content, do you know how many people looked at it last month, last week, whether they found it useful, not useful? Who's doing that? Who's telling you all that, right? And without that information, this is a graveyard of content. A lot of traditional systems are nothing but graveyard of content. You'll take good content and they go to die in the traditional knowledge systems. So look at more modern knowledge systems which take feedback, which connect to different systems, but they have their own enterprise system, which can be selective, which can basically give a different answers to you but a different to X and Y, right? So for example, if you're a contractor versus an employee, will I be able to give a different answer? Heck yes, because I know you are two different people and two different kind of privileges or accesses. So why should I give you the same answer, right? So depending on who you are, so these are the new kind of features which are coming in, which I must say traditional systems just won't help, right? You need to add a layer to reach there. So those are the main things I want to talk to about where the traditional systems fail. And I'm just going to show this slide again, what we covered just now. We said, um, this is what we said. We said traditional systems, while good at these things, they do not cover the employee experience and automation too well. And we showed how it can be. We talked about how it can be done with a product like ours much better. There's only one thing, last slide, that I just want to talk about, which is, how do you get high adoption, right? You talked about, Manish, fantastic technology, beautiful. How do you get the adoption? And there is a method to that madness, right? You don't get high adoption just like that. You have to do XYZ in order to do that. And we can, this is worth a whole different webinar on its own. And I think I've done at least one webinar in that respect. But um, typically, you want a great percentage of issues that people are facing to be handled by bot. So I don't want to come to a system which can only do two things for me, right? Why would I go there? I know I don't even remember which two things you can do for me. Why will I come when I have an issue to you? So when I have a system which can handle majority of my issues, then I am incentivized to go there. So keep adding more and more capabilities and you'll see more and more usage. No questions about it. Second, obviously, I mean, I've been beating around, about this point for a while, that you do need the solution in Teams or Slack or something like that, right? Don't even start building a solution somewhere else. And lastly, you need very graceful exception handling. What happens when things don't go right? Do you have a solution that can handle that well? And we have a principle saying no employee should go with a bad feeling that I didn't get anything that I was looking for. Not only that, it didn't even suggest me something. So employees should leave with a feeling that, hey, I didn't get the right answer or right response, but still it took care of the issue in some way. And we can talk about that, how we do that at depth again. But broadly, these three things, if we don't have too much time, if we just have to take three takeaways from adoption, these three will be my takeaways. So my summary really is, if you're using Jira, you got to think how you are going to enhance your employee experience, how you're going to automate more. These two functionalities, really you need to think outside the box. Come have a discussion with us. We'll show you how we integrate with Jira, how we provide these kind of capabilities that I talked about today. And these are significant movers, right? Like, it's so difficult to hire people nowadays, it's so difficult to retain people. And in that context, you do want help, you do want stability in your service desk, you do want continuation, you do want resilience in your service desk. And adding AI powered solution is really easy way to add that resilience to your service desk. Hopefully you found this session useful. I'm happy to take any questions if you have any. But in case we don't have any questions, you can write to us and reach out to us. It's not a problem. But hopefully you found this session useful. I will take a quick pause to see if anyone is typing any questions. Nothing so far. So thank you so much, and come back again. We do these webinars quite often. We take different aspects of service desk and break them down. So thank you for joining today again, and have a great rest of the day.